When I look around at all the entrepreneurs who are grinding it out, spending 70 to 80 hours per week growing their business, you have to ask yourself the question, at what cost? Hi, my name's Tim Uchuk, and in this podcast, we're going to be exploring the tools, tactics, and strategies for crushing it and scaling your business without making the ultimate sacrifice of your time and freedom.
Hey, what's up, guys? Tim Uchuk here, and I was just thinking it's the morning, and I was thinking it's a Wednesday today about our coaching call yesterday. And one of the themes that comes up so often, which is around people, it's all around people. And it's funny because so many entrepreneurs, they get hung up on the processes and the tools and the systems and all this granular stuff. And if you don't understand fundamentally on the people side, how they work, what motivates them. Essentially, what it comes down to as an entrepreneur is there's so much human behavior that's involved that we're almost part-time shrinks if you think about it. But this is one of the challenges that comes up. So you could have the best, documented SOPs, standard operating procedures for running things within your business, all the repeatable stuff. But if the people aren't doing them, it's kind of useless. And so we're talking about look at your business, for example. And you've got competition probably within your industry, probably a lot of people that are doing the same thing, serving the same audience. And if you were to take your business and put it on a bell curve, where it looks like a bell and the average is the center there, the mean, where would you put your business in the, relation to the competition, the other people out there? And if your answer is in the middle in terms of average, well, the harsh truth is that on a long enough time frame, you're going to go out of business if you're average, because there will either be people that are going to have to step up, who are going to take market share increasingly. And in this game today, it's almost a first mover advantage with the fast pace of technology changes, buyers' habits. You look at Amazon, like it or not, is they're setting the bar in terms of expectations from buyers nowadays. And so we're getting compared to Amazon, all of us, all of our businesses. And so if you're stacked up right on the average of a bell curve when it comes to your industry, you're in trouble. And so that means that you need to move to the right of average. And what does that look like? Well, having systems and all that kind of stuff in place is great. But the people side is equally, if not more important. Obviously, we need human beings to run our business and make sure that everything's kind of running smoothly. And so the theme I wanted to talk about that keeps coming up, and this is one of my daily mantras, is one called respect for people. Respect for people, and this comes from lean manufacturing philosophy. And when I say lean manufacturing, if you're in, real estate or construction or healthcare, software, it doesn't really matter. Lean manufacturing is a philosophy that can be applied to any business and any industry. And it's one of the reasons, by following these practices and really two themes, it's respect for people and continuous improvement. Toyota has been able to pull off, one of the most profitable car manufacturing companies in the history because of the relentless approach to continuous improvement and respect for people. So what does respect for people mean? Why is it important? Well, in any business, if let's look at the extreme. I always like to look at the extreme. So what an extremely good looks like and an extremely bad. So an extremely bad in terms of what you don't want is people who just come in every day and they don't think. They don't think at all. They clock in and they don't turn on their brains, if at all, until the start. And then at the end, they check out. And anything outside of their very specific day-to-day activities, the response is, it's not my job, right? And it takes a lot of energy to move them forward and motivate them, right? That's the extreme, low end of the spectrum. On the high end, you've got people who are nimble. They're able to react and respond. They're able to think on their feet. They're able to make decisions for the right reasons. And that's the high end of the spectrum. So how do we move towards that high end of the spectrum? And it comes back to this respect for people. And respect for people, a lot of people misinterpret it for being overly gentle with people, putting on the kids' gloves. And actually, when you show respect for people, you're showing respect for their potential. I mean, underneath that phrase is respecting their potential. And how do you respect their potential? And if you think about raising children, for example, if your goal should be to raise a child, if you're a parent, who is curious and confident. So curious meaning that they're not arrogant to think that they know everything. So they maintain their level of curiosity, and they're confident. They're confident to try new things, because growth only comes from expanding and moving into those areas of discomfort, knowing that it's going to be uncomfortable, but delaying that gratification because there's going to be growth on the other side, right? So confidence and curiosity. And same applies within the workforce. And this is, by the way, why establishing core values is so important as a business, so that you can really clearly articulate what it means to be a great team player within your company, and what the traits are to move them up that spectrum that we were just talking about, from the low to not thinking, not challenging, not working outside of your comfort zone, to the opposite end of the spectrum, which is going to lead to, everybody kind of doing the right things for the right reasons, right? And more importantly, teaching them how to fish, teaching them how to think. If everybody is coming back to management or you with questions because they don't feel empowered and they don't know how to think, that's going to be a problem, right? That's going to be a huge bottleneck in your business. So respect for people means that when people are coming to you with problems, you're putting the monkey right back on their shoulder, because showing them respect means respecting their intelligence, and it means respecting their potential. And you do this by allowing them to come up with the solution. Now, you can provide the framework and help ask the right questions and set it up and provide context in terms of why this is all important, really, really important. But you're doing them a disservice if you're answering their question every single time, because you're literally not showing them respect, because you're not allowing them to grow. And everybody wants to grow deep down inside. They might have excuses because it's uncomfortable, but deep down, everyone wants to grow. And you're actually robbing them of that potential, that growth, by not showing them respect. And you're not showing them respect because you're not providing them the ability to flex that brain and use it. So one of the greatest things that you can do as a leader is you got to teach your people how to fish by showing them respect. Now, respect means, allowing them to come up with solutions. And there are programs that I teach that can systemize this in your business as well. But showing them respect. And then the other thing is responsibility. And when you break down and define what responsibility means, it's the ability to respond. And this means treating people like adults. Treating people like kids means, permitting the behavior that you're getting, and a lot of that behavior, if it's bad, if you permit it, well, that's kind of the onus is on you. You show respect by holding people to the standards. And it's really important, by the way, if you're going to be moving in this direction, that you can't be a hypocrite. You can't be saying, you know what, here's where our standards are in this business, where we show up on time, meetings start on time, meetings end on time. We follow agendas. We've got the daily discipline. We put our customer first. We do what we say we're going to do. We say please and thank you. If you're not modeling this behavior, it doesn't matter what you say. You're going to be a hypocrite. It's a really important disclaimer, is that if you're moving towards this respect for people model, you have to walk your talk as a leader. Really, really important. Otherwise, this entire house of cards is going to crumble. So don't be a hypocrite. You got to model this stuff. And then from there, you manage the systems over the people. So when people are late, here's a clear example. Let's say that you're in the construction business, and time is money, and most businesses, time is money. People are late for meetings and so on and so forth. We need to show respect by holding people accountable and responsible. And a perfect little example would be you show respect. So if somebody's 2 minutes late for a meeting, you're not waiting for them. Showing respect for them is to help them grow by you start that meeting on time at the top of the hour. And if they're 2 minutes late, they've missed 2 minutes. And the opposite, you're not showing them respect by saying, let's just wait for this person to show up for the meeting, because you're permitting the bad behavior. You guys are regressing back to the average or below average on that bell curve, which your business is the sum of all the activities and behaviors. Your culture is the sum of how you do things. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So take a look at all of the activities and behaviors. Plot yourself where you think you are on that bell curve in terms of where your current state standard is, and recognize that if the answer to that is average, meaning your meetings aren't starting or stopping on time, you don't have that discipline built in, and anytime I see an organization where the meetings don't start and stop on time, to me that's a symptom of some bigger things, and it shows me what their other habits are, it's an indicator, a good indicator that those are lacks. So I hope that's helpful, guys. I just the respect for people. There's so much underneath that term and that phrase. But if you really unpack it and understand, it's really towards helping people to grow and recognizing people for their potential rather than their current behavior. So if you've got people that they've got bad behaviors, maybe that's what they're used to. They might come from a business that's got different values, and so you got to watch for that. And you don't want your business to be absorbing other people's core values and cultures from other businesses as you're hiring. You need to set that standard, show respect by holding everyone to that standard and recognizing their potential, recognizing your business's potential. And there's a lot of psychology behind it, but I think it's a good way to go about it. And even having this kind of conversation with your team is extremely valuable. Because who doesn't want to work in an organization where they're not respected? So I hope that's helpful. Again, respect for people. It's been one of the game-changing conversations that we've had within our cultures, our organizations, across our businesses, as well as with my clients. And give it a try. Have a conversation with your team around this. And I think it's really, really going to help. I think you'll see a big difference.
Hey, Tim Uchuk here, and real quick, if you enjoyed this podcast episode, if you could take a couple quick seconds to give it a rating, it would be very much appreciated. And secondly, if you're looking for more tools and strategies on how you can crush it in life and business, just head on over to bookwithtim.com, where I've put together a free case study which shows you how to unlock unprecedented freedom today by using the 2 power levers. Just head on over to bookwithtim.com. Until next time, wishing you success and freedom in your business. Cheers.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.